You know what I forgot? Hello, Mr. Mike. I forgot you, darling. How are you tonight? Pretty good. Okay, great. This is Fun University. Yep, this is Fun University. We're going to talk about Craft Roulette 127. If you don't know what that is, let me do the intro and we will tell you. Stay tuned for some fun. We're going to talk about the 5th and 6th parameters.
Hi, I'm Mary Gunn. Welcome to Fun University.
Hello, I'm Mary Gunn. I'm Mary Gunn Fun, founder and head professor of Fun University, and your intrepid hostess of Craft Roulette. Craft Roulette is the ultimate paper crafting card making game show challenge that we do every Friday night at 6:30 live over on our sister YouTube channel, Craft Roulette. We also don't do any teaching. We don't do any selling. We don't do anything except have eclectic conversation and improvisational card making with a wonderful guest each and every week. You are always invited to join us. Bring a friend. There's lots of room at our table. But this is where we break down the things that we did last week on Craft Roulette. Thank you guys for being here. I came in and didn't get to see too much except that I saw something about Smurf not feeling great. So feel better, Smurfer. We don't like that. Kerwin is right here on top of all the cards that I was going to use tonight. Cats, that's another parameter, the cat parameter. Anyway, we had a great time last Friday night with Lydia Fiedler on the show. It was episode 127. The reason that we had Lydia on, and we will be having some other guests that are spin sponsors. Our spin sponsors are people that we have gotten to team up with for a month long. Each week, they're giving away a $25 gift certificate to you guys that send in cards. If you've never sent in a card, this is a great month to start. If you want to get started on the spin sponsors for this month, you haven't, you can always be a patron and enjoy the extended submissions. But anyway, our spin sponsors this month, and we want to thank them deeply. Prickly Pear, we're going to have Sharon on this week. Prickly Pear Stems. My Sweet Petunia, that's why we had Lydia on, and Heffy Doodle. And we are going to have Leslie, who owns the place over in Scotland. She's going to stay up and be live with us. So it's going to be an exciting month with some new guests, and it's going to be fun. Ashley Young did have her baby. She had a baby boy, little Harrison. If you want to send her a card and you do not have her address, please send it to me at P.O. Box 480566, Kansas City, Missouri 64148. It's all down below or in the description or about or something like that. It's all there, but have that to me by the 30th of September so I can mail that to her before the baby gets too big. All right. But I'd be happy to send that on because that's just how we have to do it. Yep. Kerwin's here. Grandma Gay. Got my stretchy pants on and we are ready. I didn't have any mail today. I went out and mailed the things to Vicky and Deanna and Susie, I think. And those are all in the mail now. So you should be getting them soon. But I didn't have anything. That's fine. But so I pulled out, I have a whole pile of cards that you guys have sent to me. And so I pulled them out for illustrations for tonight's show. So anyway, Peter wants a piece of bread and butter. That sounds like a poem. Peter wants a piece of bread and butter and honey. I was just reviewing all the cards and things today. We have 138 current cards. We're going to talk about each and every parameter a little bit, and what I've had to do is, I would spend all the rest of my life just talking to you about your cards, but I took a random number generator, picked about 8 cards that I can actually talk about, and then a couple more that just had kind of fancy things or funny things that I thought were really funny and wanted to share. So one of which was Wanda Thompson, who is also often in the group. All the information is down below. And she talked about pretend because that was one of her parameters. And she said her grandfather, I don't know if you guys read this, her grandfather, when they would be on trips, would stop and go over to a tree. And then he would come back and he would have M&Ms. She thought that was how M&Ms were born, I guess. But I thought that was such a delightful story, and it was based on Lynn Severson, I think, Lynn's card, which had cupcake tree, pretend cupcake tree. So it was all very fun, and I thought that was just worth saying something about. So we had 4 parameters. We always have 4 parameters. The project had to include pattern paper. It had to be winter colors, and that seems to have stumped a few people, but we'll talk about it. Had to involve something that was pretend, and then you had to use paper strips. Hello, Kerwin. Are you going to get up and say hello? He's stretching. Oh, he's such a big boy. There he is. Oh, come here. Come say hi. We got to show off the boy. Oh, look at the boy. He's been on the show since he was 7 weeks old, and now he's 2-something, I think. And he's so big. You're just a big old guy, aren't you? You mad? A little mad? Tired of it? Ready to move on? Yeah? Okay. We'll talk to you later. Anyway, that's Kerwin. So random, you had to use paper strips. A lot of you wisely did a little double dipping onto the paper strip and pattern paper combination. Perfect. Why not? You don't have to use them separately. This is a creative, artistic project. So we want to make sure that you know that, and that if you can cleverly use 2 parameters at one time, it's all the better. Yeah, he has gotten bigger. He's a big boy. He's still kind of scrawny, but he can carry in rabbits and he can carry in chipmunks, and so he's pretty strong. Anyway, so that's that. Then the winter colors. Did want to talk just a few minutes. We do break down the parameters on the show. That is on Craft Roulette YouTube channel, and we did talk about that, about how winter colors. What does that mean? It can mean cold winter colors, but it could also be things inside, winter cozy colors inside. So when you look at the gallery of 138, which will be growing because our patrons will still be sending in cards until Thursday night at midnight, you will see that you might question, go, well, that doesn't look like a winter color. But it might be somebody's winter cozy nook. And so that's how they're interpreting it. So that's just a couple things. If you are ever puzzled about certain parameters, we do talk it down and talk about it. And then down in the description of each show, there is chapters. If you've never paid attention to that, it's fairly new. Mr. Producer, though, goes through every show and breaks down the time stamp on where the different things happen on the show. So if you ever do get stumped, like you don't get to go make something right away and you go, oh, what were they talking about? What were they talking about? They talk about so many things. You can always go to the chapters and review sections. So maybe those things will help. We have more plans to help make things make more sense soon. But anyway, always something to do. Project. Oh, here's mine. I think you're done looking at me, don't you? I think so, yeah. Ooh, let's go down here. A little farther. There we go. So here's how I fit mine in. We had the project, yes, and it was pattern paper, so I used pattern paper on my bed. Then winter colors to me, some purples, some greens, some blues, and those were my wintry colors. I've seen many cards with like snowflakes and different things in these colors. And I remember one card, early in the Craft Roulette days, we had winter colors or something like that, and it was more specific. And all of it was snowflakes and gatefold card and these kind of colors. And it really was a beautiful, cold, frosty. You had to wear a sweater to look at the gallery. But everybody was a lot alike. Not so much this time. which was okie dokie. For pattern paper, though, Karen F., this was I just chose a card from a random number generator. She did the double dip thing where she did strips of pattern paper and used dies. But one thing that she did, and you'll be able to see it on her card, if you'll probably recognize it, Karen F., she used a little buffering of vellum from behind her base with the strips of paper to her focal point. So that there's so many ideas in the gallery. It's just remarkable. That's why I can't talk about them all, or I'll never get anything else done. Paula R. did strips of diagonal paper with purple colors that really matched well with her focal point, which was a gnome. That was her pretend thing. Lots of ways to use pattern paper and strips of pattern paper. Some of them that I thought were very clever. A lot of people used it for backgrounds, strips of pattern paper. Some of them would take a regular piece of pattern paper and then cut it into strips and make it a little bit wider apart. And so that it was a cool look. It looked like it had grout in between it. That was very, very good. And then sometimes if you have a card that maybe you just need a little bit of, the focal point's not big enough for the whole card base, bring in a couple strips of some pattern paper that can make kind of a border. That was something else I saw with Willow Maloney did strips at the top and at the bottom, so it was kind of like a frame. So it was like here and here, and those were her strips of paper, and it just framed her images right there. Another, while I'm on paper strips, SE cards, and I think this was her first card to send in. She used teeny tiny strips, kind of like Lydia did, and put them on pattern paper and used them for grass. It was very, very clever. There's just too many clever things to be able to talk about, but those were a couple things that my random number generator found for me. Winter colors, again, that was something that I know that some people kind of struggled with and wonder, what the heck is winter colors? Is it Christmas colors? Is it outside colors? Is it inside colors? It's whatever you want, as long as you can tell us why you chose it. It was winter colors is an open parameter, so you've got pretty wide variety of things you can do. Now, if you have the colors that have specific colors, then we're a little more gotta be within those, and you gotta include them. But winter colors is pretty wide open, so it was a great wide open month or week. Amy Moore, for instance, did a cozy winter colors. She had a little bear reading stories to some other little bears, and they were browns and greens. Winter colors maybe in a forest would have been those colors. Winter forest inside the little bear's hibernation nook. Now we know what they do when they're hibernating. They're reading stories. So when they run out of good books, they just come back out and eat. I think that's what they do. But that's kind of a different way to look at it, if that helps. Sometimes we get used to, okay, this is our project and these are the colors we're using. We're prescribed different things, and this doesn't do that so often. And so Google is a great place to generate some palettes. You can just ask for it, and they will generate, you can do searches of palettes, so for instance. So there's lots of things you can do. We'll talk more about it, but I did want to talk to you about a little bit about what you do when you get such an open-ended palette like that called winter colors. So Sophia A used pinks, greens, and had a brown moose. So that would be more like Christmas winter colors, like Lydia was talking about, one-off kind of winter colors that were one-off. But lots of purples, lots of blues. And remember, you can go down to the chapters and see where we talk about it and maybe get more ideas and clarification when you get stuck. Element. By golly, by gosh, pretend. It seemed kind of, it was vetoed last week. Or before this week, it was vetoed. So It was not something which is something our patrons get to do. It was not something that you wanted to embrace very quickly, but once you decided, oh, heck, we got to do it anyway, let's pull that Band-Aid off. You guys did really, really well figuring out how to use a pretend element. Lots of little critters doing little critter things that were people things. I can't think of what that was. What's that word? Personification of the little critters. They were great. Little girl Judy Kimiak made a darling card with a little girl dressing up. Totally made so much sense in the pretend element. It was adorable. Karen Goddard had an angel, and it was such a pretty card. Watch, and when you see it, look at it, the way she did the wings. Melanie Foy knocked it out of the park. I know, you could do so many things with pretend. It's just, especially like we talked about on the show, how about a toaster that it has a smiley face? It was way open for anybody that loves lawn fawn and for different things too. It was really fun. There was also, however, Julie has a really long end name. You had a really pretty card. It wasn't fanciful at all, but in her sentiment it said, "Pretend it's still your birthday." So that was clever way to pull that in. But Melanie Foy had ice cream cones, and I thought, well, what is she talking about? Why is she? That's very real. Those aren't pretend, even though they looked artsy. They're not pretend. And then I read her description. And if you do ever look at a card and you don't know what the heck they're talking about, read their description. It's worth it. So fun. She said her pretend was calories. They were pretend calories in the ice cream. I want some of those. But probably don't taste very good. But it sure looked good. Anyway, that was great. Then tonight, I laughed out loud with that one. I also laughed out loud with Ava Belons. She's in Hawaii, and she took a little kit to do her craft roulette project, and she forgot ink. So you gotta look her up. She got her card made, and then she's just got clear stamps on it. The complete stamp, and it said, "Oh crap, I forgot." And so that was delightful. When we first went to clear stamps, I remember hearing the story of somebody who thought you did do it that way. You put them on the card and they would just stick them on the card. That would be a very expensive card after a while, but just an idea. So much fun. You guys I hope you enjoyed those parameters. I really did. So 5th and 6th parameters. Are you ready? You guys did well, and they're still coming in. Remember, at 6:10 on Friday, the slideshow starts before episode 128 on Craft Roulette. And it's just a slideshow of all the cards, but you can see them now over on craftroulette.live. 5th parameter is your style. What you bring to the card is your style. If we didn't have the 5th and 6th, and the 6th parameter is your supplies. If we didn't have the 5th and the 6th parameters, we would get 135 cards, all of the same thing. But you bring your own mojo. So we don't. We get 135 unique and fantastic cards. There's no one style that is right or wrong, and they vary greatly. I've got a couple examples. Are you ready? These are not the only examples either. Some cards can be rather simple but delightful, while other cards can be very, very elaborate, like Crafty Owl and Card Monkey. Neither one is right or wrong, they're just different. Some cards can be very calm, like this little kitty from Patty Beck. Isn't that cute? Just as cute as can be. She likes calm things. Like, she even has his little feet on the handle. and little scrapbook paper. But other cards can be very dramatic with bold and intense colors. I don't remember who sent this to me. Do I? Oh, Sue, with the name I can't say. Sue A. So calm and bold and dramatic. Some cards can be fairly minimal, but good. There's not a thing wrong with this at all, even though it's pretty minimal. But some cards can get very complicated with lots and lots of different layers and embellishments and pops up and lots of different images. So there's nothing wrong with either one. Some cards can be whimsical, another Patty Beck card. And some cards can look more realistic. Not tremendously, but more realistic flowers. Some cards can be rather loose and organic in the way they're presented. And other cards can be very technical and purposeful. Yep. So those are, when you look through the gallery, you can go, oh yeah, well this week it's a lot of whimsy, but you can look at different galleries, and when you're needing something, you can go, oh, I can go find, that was a pretty serious week. I can go back and find a serious card and see what we can do with it. But by learning, we're going to talk about this just a second. I've got another one. The sixth parameter. Bum, 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 bum. We don't all use the same supplies. And so that makes each of our cards very unique as well. Some people love to do stamps. That was by Danny Bindell. She did it on the show. Other people are masters at the dies. Christina. Some people paint. And some people use hand-drawn images. This is going to be a coloring sheet for you guys, you patrons. And other people use paper piercing or paper piecing. I can't read my own writing. You do love your dies. So if you apply the fifth parameter and the sixth parameter to the 331,776 different parameter combinations that we have on Craft Roulette, whoa. And then we really get some woes. Whoa. So how can it help you? Let me get something out here while I talk to you about it. But I'm going to got a pretty little stamp from Sharon Ware, who is our guest this week. Doesn't look pretty in there now because it's not lined up. And from Prickly Pear Stamps. And I've had some fun with it. Yeah, there's a whoa. This one, okay, here's a tip. I stamped it poorly, and you can see it looks like it's got a little echo going on there right beside it. It's got one good image, and then I scooted it a little bit, and it's got a little shadow. So I just did it all in grays. It's pretty cool, actually. I think once it gets cut down and put on a card, it'll look good. This is a card that I did real loose, organic approach with some alcohol markers on an acetate card. There is a short video on how to organize your pre-stamped images on Creative Espresso on this channel. Oh, and patrons, let's see, I think it's September 1st, you get a tutorial on this. And you also, this is another alcohol marker one. You can and another idea on using the same stamp. I thought, oh, well, we'll just put some vellum on here. I'm not sure if I like how it ended up. but we'll keep working on it. And how I adhered the vellum was I just tucked it behind here and tucked it behind here and glued it on. So it's completely loose here. You could do a pocket. But, so how does it help to understand these kind of parameters? One is it can help you decide what you want to buy. What do you like? What are the cards that you see in the gallery that you go, woo, that is the best, hot diggity dog. I wish I could do that card. So you start to learn, oh, that's the kind of things I like. It'll help you narrow down what kind of companies carry those kind of products. So you can start watching their socials and their videos and learning from them directly. It can help you focus when it comes to creating. If you know that, and to work with a parameter so that it makes it your card. If you know that you're going to do flowers, look at the options you have with flowers. Because you get those kind of broad parameters, and don't be afraid of them. Just figure out what you like to do with them. This one even has flowers. And then make your card so that you're happy with it. What about if we're on Craft Roulette and you get like dog? That's all there is, dog. Are you going to go realistic? Are you going to go like a cartoon dog? Are you going to go big dog? Are you going to do die cut dogs? You kind of learn to know your own style, and it makes creating easier. Does that mean that you should never try other styles? Oh, perish the thought. That'd be like eating at the same restaurant every single time, and we don't want that. Just most of the times. Now, what happened to what I wanted? Did Kerwin take it? There they are. I was gonna paint this little guy using some metallics. Darn it! I put things all ready for myself, and then I forget where they are. Just squirt it with some water. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never done this. But those are just some of my thoughts. So, because I know a lot of you you people have made a lot of cards. And they're so good. And so you've kind of got your little groove going on there. I thought this would happen. Okay, so this is going to cover up the lines pretty hard. So maybe I should have had, this would have been one of those times that you need a Misty to have, to go back over this and define your lines again. But I put it away. See, I never put anything away right. Otherwise, if I hadn't done that, I would have left it out forever. It would have been better. Try to get this off, but it'll still be pretty. This one is, do I have the right one? Yep, it says WC, water closet. No, it says watercolor. So I hope that kind of helps you realize how important your style is to the Craft Roulette Gallery, and to help you just understand what to do when you get these parameters. Do you have to make it like somebody else's, or is it really good? Am I really good enough to try this? Yes. You don't have to make it like anybody else's. And yes, you're good enough. Because each card has its own little special zing and interesting something that we all go, well, dang, I never thought of that. Or dang, I did think of that, but I thought of that 20 years ago. And I am delighted to hear it again. Or see it again. Oh, that's going to be kind of pretty. It's just metallic paints. I'll go over some of it, I think, with I'll probably splatter it. But I can't splatter it here or I get in trouble. So that's that. We don't want to get in trouble. Mr. Producer works too hard for us to get him mad. Good night, Patty. Good night, Lisa. I'm about to sign off too. That's all I really had tonight was just encouraging you to know that you are unique and that your cards are awesome and they're important. That's not a bad message, is it? And that you can do all sorts of things with smaller amounts of things that you like. So anyway, that old wheel, I did change some of the parameters, so you may want to check those out for September. Do join us. Oh, let's just go ahead and say thank you to our patrons. Our patrons are the people that support us. We are not supported by our spin sponsors. Those are for giveaways for you guys. So to be eligible, you have to turn in a card. That's it. And remember, don't do it on the Facebook first. Do it on the website first. That submission form is closed now, but it will be open to patrons until Thursday night, and then it will be open again on Friday during or after the show. We look at this. It's just beautiful. How many beautiful patrons we have. It's wonderful, and we have so much fun over there on our Patreon blog with people voting and talking and chatting and getting extra content. They get more than this. Yeah, lots more. They get a redo of this, and they'll probably get some more on this too. But anyway, we do thank you. Each and every one of you, you're making a huge difference in our Friday nights and being able to bring the show to many, many people. And they seem to like it. So well done. Thank you so much. Do join us Friday night for episode 130 with guest crafter Sharon Ware, the owner and proprietor of Prickly Pear Stamps. If you want to see all of our spin sponsors, you can go to craftroulette.live. Under the associates page, you will find a page for our spin sponsors, and you can click on their links and find their websites, and then you can go to guest crafters and see all the people that have been on the show. There's a lot. I think we're up to 55 different people have been on the show. So let's kiss our brains and say good night. It was a short lesson, I will admit, but I hope you got something out of it. I get a lot out of you. So thank you so much. We will talk to you guys on Friday, and go visit us on Facebook. We have a lot of fun there too. Night night. Bye.